Welcome to CINEPRO, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The story of the series Sirens begins with a woman named Makala who is on an island with a hawk in a cage at sunrise. She releases the hawk from its cage. Meanwhile, we meet a woman named Devon leaving prison after a night of detention. She tries to call her sister Simon, but Simon doesn't answer, so Devon sends her a message saying she wants to meet. You can see Devon's sadness and psychological exhaustion from what happened. Devon arrives home and finds a fruit basket at the door. She goes in and sees her father Bruce acting delusional. Devon reads the card and realizes Simon is the sender. She gets upset and speaks ill of her sister, but Bruce scolds her and says not to speak badly about Simon. The two then argue. Devon tells him she's going out and warns him to take his medicine on time. She leaves and gets dressed, but while dressing she sees her sister's social media posts and from them learns the location of the island. Back to Simon. She's at a large house on the island and sees her sister's messages but ignores them. She goes inside and talks with a man named Ison, a wealthy businessman. Their relationship is secret and casual. Simon asks that they keep it secret from her manager Makila. Meanwhile, Devon reaches the island by boat and is eating from the fruit basket. At that moment, Simon leaves Ison's house, or runs from it, to Makila's house, which is very luxurious. She enters, coordinates the servants, and prepares everything for Makila's personal assistant's duties. When Makila arrives, her strong, powerful demeanor is clear to Simon. It's shown she relies on Simon for every detail. Simon prepares Makila's schedule and tells her how to take photos or send them to her husband Peter, who is traveling in Japan. A charity party for wildlife rescue is taking place at Makila's house, attended by charity members. Makila thanks Simon publicly and tells her she couldn't do anything without her. At that moment, Devon arrives on the island. She asks a taxi driver for the house location, and he offers to take her only for a high fee, which she refuses and decides to walk. Meanwhile, Makila goes to the raptor sanctuary, and we learn she had a tracking device put on the hawk she released. When Devon arrives at the house, Simon is busy with party preparations, and a staff member greets Devon thinking she's a guest and says she matched Simon. Simon goes to see her and is surprised to find Devon, who scolds her for neglecting their father and asks her to return with her. Simon tells her she must leave before anyone sees her. Devon is surprised by her sister's change, noticing Simon has had a nose job. Simon asks Devon to stay in the guest house and keep quiet, warning her not to tell anyone they are sisters. Devon replies that she has stopped drinking and that their father's condition is bad and no one cared for him. She says someone called her. Simon is indifferent and offers money, but Devon refuses, saying she doesn't need money, she needs Simon to take care of their father because he's unwell. At that moment, Makila arrives and sees them. Simon is embarrassed, but introduces Devon to Makila, trying to make the meeting pleasant, while Devon answers coldly because she's upset. Makila says she's happy to meet her, then asks Simon why she never told her she had a sister. Simon, embarrassed, replies that she was an addict and will leave. The two start the party. Devon calls her married friend Ray and asks him to check on their father. He initially refuses but agrees after she pressures him. Devon goes into the woods and smokes. She meets a man named Hosea who manages the house, and he warns Devon that smoking is prohibited. Devon returns to the house. Then Ison arrives, sees Devon and throws car keys at her thinking she's a maid. Devon says she doesn't work there. Ison apologizes and asks if she's a guest. Devon says she came for Simon, surprising him. He didn't know Simon had a sister. Devon explains they were separated in childhood. Simon went to an orphanage. At the party, Simon sees them and gets upset, pulls Devon aside, and tells her not to talk about her life to anyone and to leave immediately. Devon refuses, saying she'll stay. When Ison returns, Simon asks why Devon never told her she had a sister. Simon remains silent. Makila recites the charity poem and everyone repeats after her. After the party, Simon pulls her sister aside and warns her not to speak about Ison. Devon is surprised by her sister's subservience to Makila and sees Simon as merely a tool, pointing out Simon's secret relationship with Ison and warning that although he is rich, he is using her. Makila comes over and asks Devon to go for a walk. When they go out, she gives Devon an envelope with $10,000, which angers Devon because she didn't come for money but to bring her sister back. Makila agrees but warns that if she slips again, she'll be sent back to prison. Now Jose takes Devon to the guest house per Makila's orders. When Devon enters her room, she finds a dress prepared for her as if to wear at the party. She dresses and goes looking for her sister, finding getting Makila and Simone ready for the photo shoot. Devin tells Makila she wants to talk to her sister. Simone says she'll go because she's hungry and takes her to the buffet. Devin says nothing and only apologizes, admitting she judged Makila wrongly and that Makila turned out to be a good person. Makila escorts Simone to Peter's office. Jose stays there. We learn Peter wasn't ready for the party. He asks Simone to leave. Simone stops at the door and eavesdrops. Inside the office, Jose shows recordings proving Simone left the house and returned late. Peter begins to suspect something, but Makila defends Simone, saying she likely went to Asan, a rich man who likes young girls and might have taken advantage of her. Simone hears this and panics. Devin goes upstairs searching for her sister and finds Peter smoking contraband. She starts smoking with him and asks if he has children from his first wife. Peter answers that he has a son and a daughter but hasn't seen them in a long time, and his first wife's name was Aisha. Peter becomes tense and asks why she is asking. Devin says it was just curiosity. Peter doesn't answer and goes down to the party. Meanwhile, Devin looks for her sister and enters Simone's room where she finds sedatives. She receives a call from Juzy's wife saying she forgot her phone on the yacht. Juzy returns the phone and wants to talk to her, but Devin leaves and calls Ray, who is upset because she left her father. Devin reassures him she'll return in a day or 3 and asks him to look after the servants until she comes back. At that time, Devin notices a guest heading toward the woods and decides to follow her to see what Makila is doing. Makila is talking to the association members and seems to be watching them. Devin suspects they are planning something suspicious. Makila asks Isan to walk with her and asks Peter for permission. At that moment, someone approaches from behind Devin. She's frightened, but he tells her to come because her sister Simone is still shattered. Devin goes with him and finds Simone sitting on the ground in a very bad state. Devin hugs and comforts her. Simone dreams that her friend Isan falls from a cliff and points at her before he dies. Simone wakes up terrified and sees Devin next to her. Devin tells her she was in a bad state last night because the job affected her psychologically, but Simone shouts that she didn't help. Before leaving, Devin confesses she was jailed for driving under the influence, surprising Simone because her sister had claimed she did not drink. Simone refuses to return with her and decides to go to Makila to apologize. Makila tells her to go rest because she is tired. Simone asks if Makila is upset about her relationship with Esan, but Makila gently replies that she hopes Simone didn't hide this news from her. Simon confesses a big truth to Makila and tells her that her mother didn't die in an accident but tried to kill herself, and that she had tried to kill both Simon and herself when Simon was 7, but Simon was saved. Makila is affected and tells her she will take care of Isan. Now we move to Devin, who was waiting for her sister. Peter enters and invites her to smoke. She agrees to sit with him. When Simon sends a message to Isan, he doesn't reply, and at the same time, Makila sees a box of chocolates and notices a difference in the packaging and begins to suspect that Peter didn't go to Japan. She confronts him and asks the truth. He gets angry, leaves her, and walks away. Makila asks Simon to watch him, then calls her lawyer, who tells her that if infidelity is proven, they can cancel the agreement and take the money, but there's a clause. If she becomes pregnant, she can take money from Peter. Then we see Simon watching Peter from afar. She sees him in the cafeteria and informs Makila. Suddenly, Peter sees her and starts to suspect. He asks her to come along so they can catch the cheaters. While hunting, Peter asks Simon if she expects him to have cheated on his wife. Simon snaps back and says, "Yes, like you cheated the first wife, you'll cheat her too." Peter explains that he didn't cheat on Makila. He traveled to attend his grandson's party because Makila doesn't like him to go to their children, and that's why he hid it from her. He thanks her for hearing him. Now back to Devin at the clothing shop. She says she didn't feel comfortable and doesn't like the clothes. Later we see Peter and Simon finishing their outing. They return to the car. Peter grows close to her and apologizes. Simon gets tense and leaves, sending a message to Isan saying she is waiting, but he doesn't reply. She decides to go home and look for him, but can't find him. Makila calls her chauffeur Hosea to take Devin to the hotel and tells her to make sure she travels back. Devin feels humiliated and surprised that her sister didn't defend her. Hosea arrives, gives Devin a paper, and tells her to return to the airport. At the hotel, we see Devin and their father Bruce calling her, saying a thief entered the house. He means Ray. Devin reassures him, saying she sent him and that she saw her sister and had a nice time, though we learn she was lying. Bruce asks her to say hi to Simon because he misses her. Devin hangs up and buys clothes charged to the room because she won't pay. At night, Devin goes to the bar and meets a young man named Josie. She lies that she is a millionaire, but he calls her bluff, and they lie to to each other. Josie takes her to a yacht and she discovers he's the captain, but the yacht belongs to Isan. Meanwhile, Simon and Isan talk and he tells her he loves her even though their relationship is secret. Simon tells him not to ask about her past or life because such questions make her sad. Back to Devon, she talks with Josie and says she feels her sister is enslaved. Josie tries to enter and smashes glass. The hawk enters and dies. Makila is shocked and saddened by it. Devon, watching from afar through binoculars, sees the dead hawk and is stunned, which confirms her suspicions and begins to make her believe Makila might be a witch. Offerings are presented, and here, because of the doubts inside her, Devon goes down to swim in the water that reaches the island. She tries to enter Makila's house. Jose sees her on the surveillance cameras as she enters. Devon searches for her sister Simone's room until she finds it. Simone is shocked and feels annoyed, but Devon tells her that she saw Makila and that the victim was a hawk, and that she killed it and practiced magic, and Simone must flee with her immediately because she might be controlling her with witchcraft. Simone refuses and says she will not leave the island because she worked so hard to get this job and will never leave with you. Devon tells her that it was her dream to become a lawyer, and that she worked 3 jobs to cover university expenses, but Simone dropped out of university and abandoned her dream. At that moment, Simone gets angry and asks if Devon sees her as just a maid. Devon doesn't answer and says Simone is a failure who didn't sacrifice for her the way she claims. But Devon remains insistent on taking her and leaving the island. Suddenly, Makila comes in because of their loud voices. She is crying and tells Simone that the hawk is dead and it was Simone's pet. Simone tells Devon she will never leave with her, but Devon replies that she won't go without her. Meanwhile, Makila orders Jose to take Devon and throw her out. Jose puts her in the car but hands her over to the police on charges of breaking into the house and theft. Early in the morning, Makila and Simone do yoga, and Peter, Makila's husband, returns from travel and starts talking as the head chef. From his words, we learn he has children and hasn't seen them in a long time. We move to the police station. Devon is in a cell talking with a prisoner who tells her there is a rumor that Makila killed Peter's first wife and pushed her off the mountain. Devon begins to worry more and starts to be convinced that Makila is a dangerous witch who sacrifices animals as offerings. Then we see Peter talking to Makila and wondering about her relationship with Simone, saying she just helped her. Why so much fuss? Simone enters and hands over the day's schedule. Makila remembers there is a photo shoot for the association members today and Peter will attend. Peter agrees, and Makila opens a box of chocolates he brought from Japan. Simone tells the servants that Makila decided to hold a funeral for the hawk, and at the same time, the staff talk about the chocolate box Peter brought because Makila suspects he didn't actually bring it from Japan and wants to verify its original appearance. Back at the police station, an officer comes to take Devon out of the cell and brings her into a room with Makila. Devon is surprised by Makila's influence because she managed to get the police to bring her. Makila tells her she searched for her and found she had been jailed earlier for driving under the influence or resisting arrest. If the complaint that she broke into her house is filed, she could be sentenced to 4 years. Devon is scared and asks if Simone told her. Makila says no. She didn't want to upset Simone, especially since she knows the horrific way her mother died. Devon is stunned and asks what she knows about her mother's death. Makila says Simone told her their mother died in a car accident and the driver was drunk. She adds that she'll get Devon out of jail on condition that she leaves the island or forgets her sister. Devon asks for help like the help Makila gave her sister. Next, we see Devon and Jose. Jose invites her on a month-long yacht trip. Devon declines, saying she must return to care for their parents. A message from Simon asks Jose to come home because Isan is missing though all his things are there. Jose and Devon go. Simon says she's afraid for Isan because he's gone but his belongings are present. She asks Jose when he last saw him. He says the last time was with Makila at the cliff. Devon gets angry and says Makila must have pushed him. Simon defends Makila, saying she's not as evil as they imagine. Devon insists on taking her sister off the island. At that moment, they suddenly hear Makila on the loudspeaker. Simon, I know you have Isan's house and the app shows my location and I will come. They quickly flee so they won't be seen. But suddenly Isan enters and surprises them by bringing Bruce, Simon's father, and he brought Rai. Simon is shocked. Isan starts explaining that he traveled to bring her father for this important moment, and he kneels and proposes marriage. Now we flash back to years earlier and see Simon on the ship heading to the island. Then she meets Makila for the first time. Makila asks if Simon wants to work as an assistant. Simon says yes because she watched her on YouTube and felt she needed to be close to a successful woman like her. Makila asks why Simon left law school. Simon replies she studied 1 year on a scholarship for the poor but found it hard. Makila smiles and says she also studied on that scholarship and knows the feeling of poverty. Simon says her mother died in a car accident caused by a drunk driver when she was 7. Makila is moved and says her mother died young from a malignant disease. Makila watches Simon sharply as if she wants to dominate her, and then agrees to employ her. Back in the present, Simon is surprised by the marriage proposal and asks Ethan why he brought his father. Ethan says it's so she will believe in his love. Makila and Bruce enter. Because of Bruce's unstable mental state, he thinks there's a past relationship. And Makila, this is what bothers Simon. Isan is still waiting for an answer, but Simon breaks down and leaves. When Simon returns home, she finds Peter, who apologizes because he came closer to her. She promises not to mention it. Then she asks Makila what she thinks about marrying Isan. Makila warns her it's not a marriage that will make her feel valued. She says she wants to divorce Peter but has no proof of his infidelity, and if he divorces her, she'll be poor again. Makila offers Simon management of the charity in New York and her own apartment, promising everything she needs. Simon is happy and hugs her. We see Isan anxious because he doesn't know Simon's answer. Makila tells him to go hear it. She goes into the kitchen, searches Peter's phone, and discovers he is receiving service messages from his son, but Peter takes Bruce to speak with him. Meanwhile, Simon tells Isan she hasn't seen her father for more than 10 years after he lost custody due to addiction, and she's tired of her and his past and doesn't want him in her life now. We then see Simon refuse the proposal and announce she will travel to New York to run Makila's charity. Isan is upset. Simon asks Devon to take their father and leave the island, but Devon is shocked, saying she sacrificed to get both of them into university. Simon coldly replies that it was failure, not sacrifice. Devon is hurt and leaves. Now we move to Peter and Bruce as they enter the restricted area. When Devon leaves, Jose and Rai try to chase her, but she refuses. Meanwhile, Makila, who had been dancing, is asked by Bruce why she left him, why she hurt herself, and why she chose for Simon to die. Makila answers mysteriously that she tried to get pregnant but failed, a hint that she meant herself and Peter, because she didn't get pregnant by him. In the end, she calms Bruce, and he sleeps. At this time, Simon goes out looking for Devon and finds Isan drunk. He's shouting at her and calling her evil. She chases him and asks him to move away from the cliff. Isan falls. At the same moment, a strange man visits Makila and tells her he's a photographer for a magazine. He photographed Peter and took a picture of him near Simon. Makila is shocked and realizes there is a relationship between Peter and Simon. The next day, Simon goes to the hospital and finds Devon beside her. Devon reassures her that the doctors confirmed Isan's injuries are minor and he is not dead. Simon tells her sister she regrets what she said yesterday and that she has decided to go to New York to run Makila's charity. She was happy. Simon advised her and told her to leave our father in a nursing home and live her life. Devon agreed. Meanwhile, we see Makila preparing a party at the house and asking the servants to remove Simon's belongings from the room and put them in donation boxes. But Hosha hears from the cook that Makila intends to fire Simon, and the news spreads among the servants.